Greetings viewers and welcome back. Red-Rupee here calling the shots for you tonight. As always, we've got another one-on-one match of DropZone here. This match might actually be a patch or two behind the current version, but no one likes casting themselves, and I wanted to give my buddy the opportunity of being featured for some great play. Deckard on the red side, the voice of Replay Tuesdays himself, facing off against Ohlee on the blue side. In the draft, let's take a look at the first picks. We've got Pandora with Cloning Laser and Nullfield, kind of a level 3 Pandora build here, facing off against Warhead with that ground pounder and ECM locks. Definitely a nasty ability. Double robust circuits too, so going for some serious tankiness, along with that in-battle HP regen offered by threat recognition. Then we've got a summoner with that gravity gun and Nullfield combined with the ground pounder and ECM locks. Lots of potential crowd control there, and then default recon and a very similar general Vex coming in from Deckard. So two summoners and a gunner, something we don't often see here as we go into this match on Juggernaut. Juggernaut, I think I like Juggernaut a little better than Mind the Gap. Mind the Gap offers some definitely interesting play opportunities in the way of those gaps and all that sort of thing, but the jump pads and poaching enemy alphas and cores and all that, but I really just like the flow and pacing of Juggernaut a little bit more. So let's see, everyone just kind of hanging back. Ohlee kind of going for these central hives right away. Deckard kind of letting him have it. I have mixed feelings about this. With Alpha Strike, I do really like to make sure I get the rear hives locked down, but we'll see how it plays out. It's going to be a little different, I guess, going forward, depending on how the middle hives get played here, but I really like getting that rear farm under control early on when Alpha Strike's a thing. Let's see, Pandora putting some serious pressure on here. Warhead looking perilously low. Oh, he stops, actually, just as the turret goes down. One more shot finishes it off. Cloning Laser goes down. Two Cloning Lasers now out. General Vex in a lot of trouble. Silence going down, not quite enough to finish her off though, but still two Cloning Lasers hanging right out front of the enemy base. So a little bit of a discrepancy there with that FX. Don't worry about that, that's no big deal. 1 point very quickly on the board with Deckard taking a nice little lead and putting some pressure on Total Vision as well. Cloning Laser going down. Pandora sitting here pretty weak, but that Cloning Laser's got a lot of health, and that's an injured Fury, very much so. Escaping with a narrow, I think 68 HP it was there. Couple cores getting uploaded as those level 1 hives go down. The Recon and General Vex. Pandora now just dropping turrets all over the place, and with the opposing team with only their summoner on the field, now Warhead up north getting a little bit of farming done of their own. Pandora still putting a lot of pressure on here on the front lines. Still fighting for the Total Vision. I'm not sure if he's going to get it. There are some injured rigs up here. Vex taking a lot of hurt though, while Pandora limps on home, just narrowly escaping here and taking out that gunner once again. Locking down the Total Vision, a quick lead, 4-0 right now, Ohlee versus Deckard. Let's see here, General Vex moving in. Still level 1 hives on the back end. Deckard ahead in both level and score right now. Never a good spot to be in. But Ohlee's a top-notch player. There's definitely potential for him to come back from this. A 4-point lead is strong at the start, but there's definitely some time to get back into this. General Vex moving in to get that last core of the first wave of hives dunked, and still no hive up north. I'm surprised Deckard didn't go for the central hive already. He does have vision, so he should have known that it has respawned. So instead, just kind of hanging around his northeastern hive. And then moving forward, putting some pressure on with Vex as on that vision tower right away. Always trying to make sure. Oh man, did he know that core was there? Is that what was going on? Was Deckard looking to poach a core from the very dropship of Ohlee, but unfortunately it didn't work out for General Vex. Now on the run from the opposing Vex, dropping the cloning, or sorry, not the Cloning Laser, the gravity gun, followed by Nullfield. And Alpha's putting in a couple hits as well. Is it going to be enough? Vex escaping narrowly, 15 HP, one more shot's all it's gonna take. Hitting level 2, will the shot go down? Not quite able to finish the job. Vex on Vex action there, not quite finishing, but a narrow escape as Pandora does some farming. Looks like Recon had to fall back on that side of the map. getting some support. General Vex warping in with that Quantum Leap ability. Don't often see it, pretty much always see that reconstructive maneuver. That blink has such a long range, it's hard to turn down, but the ability to instantly support any ally on the field is actually really useful too. I really like Quantum Leap a lot. And there's just a lot of quantum everything right now. Quantum Mire happening, landfall coming in, the ground pounder locks down a summoner, finishes it off. General Vex on the fallback right now. Recon healed on up and heading back up north to farm a bit. 1 alpha to none right now as Ohlee starts closing the gap. I'd say right now, Deckard might have a tenuous grasp on this lead going into the mid part of the game here. Everyone's moving down. Ohlee deciding to farm up these central hives here. At least get himself on the count for those alphas. A cloaked rocket barrage coming in here. It's not going to be enough to stop Warhead. I think Recon maybe should have just cloaked in and stolen that core from the back end. A little bit of an oversight there from Deckard, but overall still managed to rout the tank and stop the potential upload there. General Vex now with a second core moving in to try to maybe spread out that point difference a little bit more once again. Ohlee's going to have himself a couple more cores going into this next team fight, however, and it looks like Deckard's going to have to at least hold this back for the time being. Getting another couple kills up here, getting that alpha, and Warhead just kind of sticking around. Vex just dropping cores off. Everyone's just dropping cores for Warhead to upload, and Deckard needs to kind of recognize how many cores are potentially on the field here to get uploaded. Just allowing these 3 cores to get uploaded without a response is a bit of a misstep here. It's gonna put Ohlee at a 7-6 lead so long as Warhead manages to get those in. And General Vex now on the back line along with Fury, able to take out those tier 2 hives probably without much issue. Meanwhile, Recon and Pandora almost level 5, which will give access to that nasty signature move, Litany of Plagues. Although without that reconstructive maneuver, it will be a bit trickier to position just right. General Vex trying to put down a little, oh man, it kind of whiffed on that gravity gun after dropping down the Quantum Mire. Actually pulled Warhead out of that just a little bit. But now getting the upload. Warhead, I think, without any additional damage on the field with any of his abilities, isn't going to be able to stop that upload. Vex now in a bit of trouble, though. Getting stunned, getting the gravity gun. There's so much CC in this build. If you find yourself out of position with a lone rig, Ohlee can really punish between the ground pounder, the gravity gun, and of course, yeah, there go the ECM blocks as well, allowing Vex to finish that upload without much threat of death. Null field goes down, but not really to any major effect. Pandora trying to upload now, but in the face of Fury, Fury should be able to do it, but actually taking great advantage of that chain lightning, able to take out that turret without getting in range by bouncing the chain off of Pandora and now getting scared off again. Even just having the turret here is such good control on the uplink. It just stalls for time. It allows you to maintain a bit of control and at least deter, if not completely cancel, an uplinking rig, especially when it was a bit lower health like Fury was right there going into that. Looks like Ohlee's going to grab himself a couple more alphas here, 2-3 right now, but it's about to be 4-3 in favor of Ohlee. With a game that is this tight, Alpha Strike's definitely going to come into play and assuredly determine a winner by the end of this game. If it stays this close, however, I mean, if one person pulls ahead, of course, it just could just be an evening or decisive blow, but more often than not on these nice close games, Alpha Strike determines the final victor. Pandora's constantly just throwing out those little plasma. Man, I love those plasma drones. They're so cool. Keeping the uplink lockdown. Man, even throwing out a kind of predicted null field, expecting his opponent to come in here. But Ohlee now getting a second pair of alphas. If you can get those 2 level 3 hives all to yourself from those middle hives, man, that is huge and really slows down. Let's see, will Deckard actually be able to get Alpha Strike with his own hives? I don't think he will, because he's only at 3, so he's going to be at 5 and then 7. So Ohlee definitely has potential to grab that Alpha Strike now, unless Deckard starts to play aggressive and get on Ohlee's rear hives there, those northeastern or north and southwestern hives, are Deckard's only chance at getting the Alpha Strike. He is 4 points ahead though, so even if Ohlee manages to score that, it's only going to even up the game. Ohlee's constantly been trying to get some uploads in, but both players have just been farming really hard and kind of not choosing to engage in too many team fights. The team fights have been relatively low on kills here. But Pandora's moving in. Warhead in a lot of trouble if he decides to stick around here. Rocket's going down. Pandora not moving in to engage though, as Warhead jumps away, grabs himself another core, and heads on back to heal, I would assume, with a couple more uplinks going over on Deckard's side of the board, taking the score to 14-10. While Ohlee's just looking for that last alpha. He's going to find it down south on that level 2 hive.
And that is how it's done.
That's the needed gap closer, but Deckard's still going to be in the lead now by 1 point, even after this final alpha goes down for the 4-point objective.
One victory at a time.
Deckard's been doing a good job of keeping an eye on the map and getting any cores that Ohlee has been leaving behind. That's definitely something that comes into play when both players are farming as hard as both of these players have been. Both players were racing for Alpha Strike, but it didn't work out for Deckard. But even so, there were so many cores on the field when you're farming this much, especially those level 3 hives, that cores just kind of inevitably get left behind on the map. So Deckard's been taking full advantage of that, keeps the score 2 points up despite losing the 4-point objective here, and then another 3 cores going down here for Deckard on his side. The thing is now, though, is that even though he's been keeping on top of those cores, there are going to be no more cores on his side of the map, so the score's going to hit 19 for Deckard, and then all the rest of the cores on the map are going to be Ohlee's, so he can get up to, let's see, 16, 17, 18. Once Ohlee clears this level 3 hive up north, it's going to be all up to Deckard to steal one of those cores to keep the lead, or just at least control the uplink to the point that Ohlee can't finish that final upload. 3.5 minutes remaining going into the final stage of this game. General Vex looking for an upload, does have to back off with all 3 of Deckard's rigs moving in here. A nice combo there. Not quite on top of the timing, just a bit too early with the gravity gun, allowing Warhead to escape the full brunt of that rocket barrage and Quantum Mire. That signal field's going down. Vex looking for trouble. Pandora breakdancing on the west side of the engagement here. Vex in a lot of trouble, but suddenly a ground pounder from Recon countered by that conductive spike. Still turrets on the back line, putting out some damage. Cloning laser goes down, almost manages to finish the opposing Fury, and manages to just narrowly get all 3 rigs out of there while nabbing himself a kill for his opponent by taking out that General Vex. If a couple things had gone just slightly differently, both Pandora and Recon would have gone down there for Deckard, but
exiles never stop fighting.
he managed to keep both of those rigs alive in that crucial team fight. If that team fight had gone against Deckard, I think that would have been it. Either side, really. I think the prerogative is on Ohlee to really win a team fight. Ground pounder combined with Fury. Oh my gosh. The stun not quite enough. Fury going down, Warhead going to be able to upload this core, no problem. But again, all the remaining cores are on Ohlee's side. He has 2.5 minutes with 40 seconds to wait on his Fury coming back on the field. And with the score going 19-18, Ohlee has no choice but to take out one of these level 3 hives and try to rush back over to the uplink and finish the job. Deckard recognizes, I guess, that all he has to do is lock this down. He could, I guess, potentially go for this northwestern hive. If he's been tracking the cores and looking at the score, he has to recognize that there's only 6 more potential points to be scored. And since all of the hives on his side of the map are down, he could at least check to see if maybe this hive was down up north. But that, of course, would be dangerous because he could be opening up a spot for Ohlee to score in the meantime. I think maybe while Fury was down there and Deckard had the power play, he could have gone for that, but in the meantime, he's really just, look at this. There's just turrets and mines waiting for an approaching rig here on the front, on that western side of the uplink. Well, I think this is going to be the final battle to determine the game. There's 3 cores on the field, but Ohlee only needs to dunk a single one to at least take it to overtime. With only a minute left, here comes the play. Warhead flying in to engage right now. Pandora dropping that ultimate ability, but not quite enough to take out any single rig on its own. Warhead goes down though, and the cloning laser drops more damage on the field. Recon might be going down here, but Fury gets stunned by the conductive strike once again, and all 3 rigs go down right at the end of the match there. Ohlee has no recourse, and I think that's going to be the game. 18-19, final score going to Deckard. Those cloning laser turrets doing some serious work. I think on the most recent build, they are actually getting an increase in their cast time. But that being said, the cloning lasers are super tide turning if they manage to get a kill. If they manage to get a kill and then spawn that second cloning laser, the opposing player has really no choice but to fall back. Those cloning lasers do as much damage as a rig at 100 DPS, or 105 actually. And once 1 or 2 of those hit the field, it's really brutal if you don't have the AoE potential to take those down, or at least a disarm in the means of either ECM locks or disruption field. Let's take a look. Let's see. Warhead with 4 kills. Wow. So the kills were actually in Ohlee's favor. I think this is the second time in a row now we've seen that despite having the advantage in the team fights, it wasn't quite enough to lock out the game. Even with that Alpha Strike going down, Deckard just kind of had I guess, better timing on the map overall. There weren't too many big battles on this map. It was just both players really trying to optimize their farming and take the engagements whenever they could. Deckard didn't really engage until he had that Pandora special move. Once he had that locked down, he was starting to he won both the team fights after that. But before that, he wasn't really engaging, and I guess that was to his benefit in the long run, because it really allowed him to just kind of close the game out in the end. Whew. Alright, anyways, I hope you folks enjoyed the game. That was, of course, Deckard versus Ohlee on DropZone Juggernaut. This has been Red Rupee. I'll catch you guys next time.